All right, so you've seen the power of the deck going first. Now I'm going to show off going second. As you can see, here's a full Rescue Ace board. There's a 3-material Appaloosa. He has an SP here. Turbulence. If another card you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, you can target one card in the field and destroy it. And then his 4 back row are Extinguish, which is a pop. There's Contain, which is like Imperm, but if he has Hydrant, I also can't use it as material for summons. Emergency basically just gets him another guy from the deck, but then he has to tribute one from hand or field, so it probably goes into Preventer, and Alert just gets some Recursion back from the graveyard or something. So how do we play through this? This is effectively 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 disruptions on the field, and we only have 6 cards in our hand. So we really want to use talents to get as much value as possible. We need a lot of negates off of this, maybe like take the Apo or something, or Turbulence could turn off his back row, right? So how are we going to get it live? We need to get him to use a monster effect. Now, my Neospace Connector is such a good normal summon that it's never going to resolve ever in this game state. So we're going to hope he uses the Appaloosa on it to make our talents live. And of course he does. So freest negate here. He's not respecting that I could have the talent. So we get to use it here. And what do we take? So we could take the Turbulence here. That would remove a name for his back row, because they say if you control a Rescue Ace monster, you get to do stuff. So we get to take away his Rescue Ace monster. He doesn't have the Reborn because he used it before. So we know which ones he has. And then I could also just go battle phase and beat over one of his 2 guys. So either I get to clear the SP or we get to clear a 2-mana Apo. Now, why wouldn't I want to do this? The problem is Emergency doesn't have to tribute from field, but can also tribute from hand. And he has Alert as a way to guarantee to get a Rescue Ace monster from his graveyard to his hand, which could be either the Preventer or the Airlifter. So taking this away actually doesn't really do anything, because I also can't threaten stuff in the battle phase, as he'll just pop it because he has a name on the field again. So what if we take the Apo? This could let me negate his monsters, which sounds pretty decent, but it's not big enough to do anything meaningful, and it gets checked by the SP if I try to negate anything, and his entire back row is still alive. So taking Apo is actually not a good play here. So that leaves us with taking the SP, and this can negate his Apo by just removing it from the field, so it can't pay the 800 attack to negate the activation here. It also stops his SP from floating, which is pretty important because I very, very much doubt that I can find lethal through all these disruptions. So it's going to be a grind game, and that's where SP really shines. So I definitely want to stop his from coming back. And it's also a warrior. So that's pretty nice for some extenders and for Isolde. So you'll see it come up. So here I take the SP, which is correct, but I misplay by putting it in the zone that the app was pointing to, because I forgot that I was running Anima, and this will eat a disruption that he has for free. Either it takes the Apo, which will be a disruption, or it gets negated by Apo, which will be the disruption, or it gets hit by the back row, which will be the disruption. So it would have been very, very good in this game state, but we put the guy here. And then we make our own SP to clear his and have all the advantages of having our own SP, as well as that banish. Again, I doubt we're killing him this turn, so I might as well use this. And I put it in the same zone again. Don't do this. Keep this free for Anima, or don't play Anima. Yeah. So what do we hit with the SP? Now, sniping a back row, right? It's not a consistent way of winning. We don't know which one is where because they do get shuffled. So we just have to guess, right? That's not like a consistent way of winning, even though we have a chance. Like if you need to hit exactly Extinguish or you lose the game, go for it, right? Otherwise you've lost. But we can probably play through some stuff here. So we want to have a more consistent play. So it's either Apo or Turbulence. Now, why would you want to hit Apo? It'll remove 2 negates, right? Let's go through the line. Let's say we target the Apo, and then either he chains the Apo to negate it, and then you chain your SP to remove the Apo, and either he uses a back row here, or he lets it resolve. Both of them will eat a disruption. Let's say he uses a back row. So in that case, he will have 1 back row left. He'll have the Turbulence, and he will have 1 Apo negate. Plus, he can still use his emergency here to get into a preventer for another flip face down. So he'll have 4 disruptions. So instead, if we hit the turbulence, he's going to dodge it with emergency, obviously. But that means he can't go into preventer. And we still have our SP's second effect here to check one of the Apo negates. So he will have 1 Apo negate and 2 back row, which is only 3 disruptions. So by hitting the turbulence here, we actually remove an additional disruption more than if we hit the Apo. All right, so he's going to go ahead and grab the hydrant. Now, this does give additional effects to his back row, so you do have to consider that. But he could have also gone for that over the preventer. There's just more flex in it, and we don't know, right? So I still think it's correct to hit the turbulence. Now we're going to pitch the Turpin off of the Duel star because it's free. It can revive itself. And I want to have a level 4 INFERNOBLE in the graveyard in case I go for a Ricardetto line. Now, this is where it's very important that you don't conceal your extenders, because we're going to activate the Duel star and he's going to Apo it because like he doesn't want me to get this Sinful Spoil Snake Eye, right? The OSS. Now, because we already have this in our hand, we don't need Duel star to resolve here. But because we have a Wanted in our deck, we actually still get to activate the Duel star. And he doesn't know what I'm searching for because I'm not going to tell him, obviously. So he's pretty much forced to negate this. Now this lets me use my SP here. And to negate the Apo. And he's going to negate the SP. So I get to eat a back row and a monster negate for free because I already have my target anyways. Do note that I can no longer use the SP Little Knight as material for this turn because he had Contain with the Hydrant. So we do have to play around that. Now we're going to use Durendal. And this is where it comes up that SP Little Knight is a warrior because Fire Flint Lady gets a special summon herself here. This also is where I would have made Anima to either eat the Apo or his pop and just put him on no disruptions. But yeah, I digress. We're going to use Hita. It's going to force out his last disruption. This is a pop. And I cannot use the effects of cards with this card's name for the rest of this turn. So it doesn't float either. So this is like the freest extinguish he's ever had, right? So we're going to threaten him by just grabbing his Turbulence or something. It's a big beater. I can do stuff with it. So he's going to go ahead and Apo this. And now we go battle phase to beat over the Hydrant, which would turn off his back row. So he's now on 0 disruptions. We get to use the OSS, bring out the Ricardetto. This is why it's good that we sent the Turpin to the graveyard here. And now it's very important. He has one more secret hidden disruption. He has a Link Karibo, which he can use to chain block my Angelica. So I'm going to use Turpin to target it. And it's a when effect. It has to be in response to the targeting effect to then do all its cool shenanigans. And he's going to use the Link Karibo here to chain block me, basically, preventing me from getting to use Angelica's effect here. Now, fortunately, we have another equip spell, right? So we can just still do it anyways. But that would have been pretty bad. Now we're going to send Ogier here because we need to get another equip effect this turn. And there's no way I'm getting to Gearfried anyways this turn. We're going to summon this guy back out. Go for our Charles here. Re-equip it. And we're going to pop the Apo. Not because it like does anything, but this keeps him off of Link Karibo's graveyard effect to dodge stuff. And I don't want it to make like a really big access code talker with the Apo. Like it doesn't have negates, but it's still 4,000 attack for the access code. So here we unfortunately don't get to equip the ring because there's nothing equipped here, but we have a spell trap negate, we have a pop, and it's a kind of simplified game state. We're going to hope that it's enough to at least survive. He's going to use the emergency to set something, and he's going to use the emergency from his hand to summon out a Rescue Ace guy. Now, we know he has the Preventer in hand, I think. We know he has something in hand because he added it off of Alert. So this could stick a Hydrant. And that lets him activate his trap card here, because you can activate a quick play spell or trap card that was set by the effect of your Rescue Ace card the turn it was set. So I need to just negate this. Also keep him just off of the body. I'm gonna go ahead. Get to trigger this guy to shuffle stuff back, draw a card, call by the grave for next turn. All right, and he's going to Airlifter for emergency. We know he has the field spell. He added it during turn 1 combo. I cut that out so you guys didn't see it, but at this point we know he already has the field spell here. And now he goes into Dark. And Dark isn't really that much of an issue because we're only on fire monsters, but we do have our SP in the graveyard, and he can also grab a Diabell Star, both which are kind of issues and I don't want them getting them, but I'm going to call him out on not having an actual Dark Search target. So we're just going to go ahead and pop that here. This means he gets to resolve the HQ, unfortunately going mad plus. Recycle all his stuff and set back all of his back row here. All right, and here's another misplay. I should have used the Synchro Charles here during the end phase. So you can see this guy's equipped with everything. I should have equipped the Synchro guy with these two guys. So using my main phase 1 priority, I can go into my second Link Charles. This will like punish him for not dealing with my guys early, because it would get up another Spell Trap Negate. So we're just going to go for it anyways here. Fortunately, he doesn't interact with it. And here also I get punished because all 4 dudes are equipped to this guy. Otherwise, I would have cleared up 2 more zones from my back row, as well as getting to trigger the Owl Mace. All right, so I don't think Emergency is a real card here. We're just going to let him use it. This has less value than the other stuff. And he's going to tribute the Preventer here. I'm going to go ahead with my Pop, which is going to get Impermed here. We know he still has both of his traps. And because we get to negate the Imperm, we have a clear zone for the Called By. Going for a massive chain here. He's going to go ahead and try to dodge everything. We're negating that too. He has to contain. And all these shenanigans get to resolve. And this puts him on having the Extinguish, I believe is the last one. Yeah, contain. Exactly. So he has the Pop here. We're going to keep playing a little bit. Add the guys back here. And we're going to grab the Renaud here, because we actually get to go ahead and make a Baron using all of these guys. Because it's a 4, a 1, and a 5. And here we go, battle phase to clear Turbulence, because I don't want him destroying one of the cards on my field here. And now in the main phase 2, we're going to clear that. We have a negate live for his back row. And we've turned off his recursion. Now he's threatening to flip this, so we're just going to negate it, clear the monster off the field here. You only have Spell Trap negates, but those do mean that his back row is effectively just dead at this point. We also have a free negate for that. Sending all of our stuff here. And it turns out he has the Turbulence, which we're going to just pop on summon instantly. Preventer coming out here. And he does get to go into Promethean, which means he still gets to reset stuff off of the Turbulence. But all the good targets are in the graveyard here, and he can't get them back without the field spell. So he thinks for a little bit, and then his time runs out anyways.